Like, theoretically, we could do whatever we want with it. With any show, we could add Drake and Josh if we really felt like it, but...
I really want to.
Oh, silly devs. You really shouldn't make comments like that. Hey guys, I am Crystal Cortex, and it's time for me to make the ultimate suggestion of what I think should be in Fusionfall Legacy. Now, I'm not going to recommend the show Drake and Josh, that'd be stupid. What I am going to suggest is that we add LazyTown to Fusionfall Legacy, and here's why. LazyTown, while not technically a cartoon, has all the heart and soul needed to fit the bill of one. With zany, off-the-wall characters who go about their days in fun and charming ways, that would make a pretty good example of an honorary cartoon. With the ever-lovable Stephanie, the heroic Sporticus, the nefarious Robbie Rotten, and more, all of them make for great characters that will fit nicely in the Cartoon Network universe. But Crystal Cortex, this isn't a Cartoon Network show. Wrong! At least, semi-wrong. You see, in Europe, LazyTown actually aired on Boomerang for some time. And do you know who owns Boomerang? That's right, a Cartoon Network. Why, in fact, our very own Johnny Test isn't technically owned by Cartoon Network, and yet here he is, standing alongside the likes of Ben Tennyson, Johnny Bravo, and the rest of them. To say that LazyTown wouldn't fit in is ridiculous. And I know how hard at work all of the devs are with the game, so it would be foolish to pile more on their plate with figuring out the details. So I have taken it upon myself to at least give them a place to start from. So without further ado, let's mix the lores of both Fusionfall and LazyTown. LazyTown is a place that exists as the laziest place in the Cartoon Network universe. Its inhabitants are some of the most inactive people to have ever graced the face of the earth. That's why it warranted the attention of Sporticus, a great hero who saved countless lives across the Cartoon Network universe to help save them from the horror that is obesity. And it seemed hopeless. That all changed when a young girl named Stephanie, who's new in town, moved in to help the cause. Except the nefarious Robbie Rotten was always there to make them more lazy. But his plans were always foiled by everyone. Unfortunately for them, Planet Fusion came on the scene and changed the world for what it was, and forced the characters from the show to either stay back and protect the town, or go out and see where they could be of use for the world. So with that, let's reveal what area would be in the game from the show. That is none other than LazyTown itself. In Fusionfall, while not looking exactly like the way it does at the show, LazyTown would get a bit of a makeover, so that the homes, while still their wacky, zany colors, would be a lot less rounded and more square to fit the Fusionfall style. It would be located in the game expansion, so that it doesn't mess with the world's current layout as much, and would have the simple plot of trying to keep the citizens happy, healthy, and unconcerned about the war going on outside. The area would have a single infected zone, which I have dubbed the Sportiflopping Stopping Blimp Zone, and is simply Sporticus's blimp, which is crashed down in a clearing just a little bit outside of town. The blimp had crashed down during Fuse's initial invasion and was twisted by the fusion matter that came into contact with the blimp parts. Players would have to traverse the infected zone to find various sports equipment and things to help keep the inhabitants of LazyTown happy and healthy, as well as look in there to find whatever secrets Sporticus could be hiding from his days as a world-renowned hero. Now for characters and what their roles could possibly be. First up, we have Sporticus. In the Cartoon Network universe, Sporticus would be a renowned hero that has saved countless lives over the course of his long life. With his athletic prowess, blimp, and a large array of superpowers, it's not unlike him to tangle with the likes of Father and the nefarious Mojo Jojo. But above keeping the world safe, he also believes in the health and physical well-being of others. And with the Ben Tennysons and the Powerpuff Girls and the Juniper Lees of the world, this help wouldn't exactly be needed, which is why he decided to devote his attention to LazyTown. But when Planet Fuse arrived and he crashed his blimp, he knew that the world was far too dangerous for him to just stick around LazyTown. He had to get back into the game and stop fusions, which is why he found himself tangled up with Dexter in his guideline to find the missing hero. His search led him to none other than the Twisted Forest. There, he would send you out on missions to not only look for clues on where these characters may be, but Sportacus has also taken a few lessons from those in the Bluff. Not only do you gotta be tough in the Bluff, but you gotta be fit to be able to kick. Yeah! So because of that, Sportacus has decided to whip any and all characters into shape in the surrounding areas. Sportacus would have a fusion located in his blimp infected zone, and its job would be to make sure the blimp stays exactly as is, completely infected and unable to take to the skies again, making his nano an expansion one. Next up, we have Stephanie, who's new in town and decided to stay in town. Stephanie is there to not only keep the residents happy, but keep them active in Sportacus's absence. She would be giving out missions to help out the random residents of town and make sure that everybody's happy and healthy like Sportacus would have wanted. Not only that, but Stephanie would also send you out on missions to look for things in Sportacus's crashed blimp at his request, and also try to help get it back in the area. Stephanie's fusion would be located in Hookslice Hills, behind the delightfully modest birthday cake. Because you know that she loves cake. When the fusion heard that it was time to bake a cake, that's how the fusion ended up there. But unlike her human counterpart, who loves to bake a cake, she'll do everything she can to infect the cake and assist whoever the fusion is that's on top of the birthday cake with its endeavor. And it's because of that, Stephanie would have an early level nano that you would receive in that area. Then we have Pixel. Pixel, who spends far too much time on the computer, would finally be put to good use and end up in Tech Square, where he would become an assistant to Dexter. He would be there and help Dexter in his missions. He's actually heavily involved in the nano development arc, and will be in charge of that. He would also have interest in wanting to take apart the random robot characters in the Cartoon Network universe to see how they work, like Computress, Robot Jones, Larry 3000, and others. In fact, his fusion, which would be doing just that, would be located in Tech Square. He wants to take apart both Computress and Robot Jones, as they would cripple Dex Labs and Mandark Industries. Because of that, Pixel's nano would be around the time you get to the Technology District. Next up, we have Stingy. In Fusionfall, Stingy would have claimed Morbuck's Towers as his own, and because of that, he's battling it out with Princess Morbucks. With all that being said, he would be located in Morbuck's Towers, so missions for the character would revolve around constantly being a messenger between him and Princess in their battles over the tower. Not only that, but doing mean things to Princess Morbucks because he's a jerk. Because of this, his fusion would be located right in Morbuck's Towers to cause destruction in order to claim his fusion counterpart and further build the fighting between the two of them. His nano would be located in the same area for that reason. Next up, we have Ziggy. Ziggy is a character who absolutely loves candy, and because of that, the young boy would find himself tangled up with the Candy Pirates. In Fusionfall, having moved up the ranks of the Candy Pirates, he found himself as first mate of Sticky Beard himself, giving him the location of the Candy Cove, right next to Sticky Beard. Because of that, a lot of his missions would revolve around helping Sticky Beard pillage candy from the residents and warding off Double D from his various questions in the whole Candy Treasure mission line, since the pirates want that treasure too. In later levels, his missions would also include making sure that Stephanie and Sportacus stay unaware of his whereabouts. You see, with Stephanie and Sportacus believing in leading a more active life, they wouldn't appreciate him dealing with the candy pirates, so because of that, he'd be asking the hero to keep on lying to them. With that being said, Ziggy's fusion would be located in the Sweet Revenge infected zone, and would be working to attempt to trick the candy pirates. His nano would be a pretty low-leveled nano, with his fusion being in that area. Then there's Trixie. Now as for her, Trixie done goofed and played the perfect prank on Dexter that ended up putting lives in danger. It was messy, but everybody lived. Infuriated, Dexter decided to do what he does for all the people that he finds useless pieces of trash that mess with his stuff. He dumped her in Heroes Hollow with cheese. There, she decided not to learn her lesson and continued to prank the living daylights out of the people in the area. And because of that, she sends the hero out on missions to set and collect items for said pranks. Fusion Trixie is located in LazyTown and assists Fusion Stephanie. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. We have the man himself, Robbie Rotten! That's right, Robbie Rotten would be the perfect fit for Fusionfall. What would he be doing? Well, I'll tell you. Now, listen closely. Robbie Rotten decided to teach a young lad a little lesson in villainy that would go down in history. He decided that if young Billy Billions wanted to be a villain number one, he's gonna have to chase a superhero on the run. Because of that, that's how Robbie Rotten ended up in the Monkey Foothills, with a young man from the Ben 10 series known as Billy Billions. Billy Billions is a child billionaire who has sworn vengeance on Ben Tennyson. And after several failed attempts, he decided he needed a villain life coach, to which Robbie Rotten was obviously the only one suitable for the job. So because of that, the two ended up in the Monkey Foothills, which I'm just assuming is still further north than the Twisted Forest, where they're chasing after our good old friend, Sportaclaw. The agreement between the two of them is that Robbie Rotten will train Billy to chase a superhero, and who better than Sportacus? After that, they've agreed they'll catch Sportacus, and afterwards, they'll catch Ben Tennyson. It's just unfortunate that Robbie Rotten doesn't really know who Ben is, but that's a bridge they'll cross when they get to it. Anywho, with that being said, Robbie Rotten will send you on missions to help with Billy's villain training, and with the capture of Sportacus. And of course, learning the occasional thing about Ben Tennyson at the request of Billy. Robbie Rotten's fusion would be located in the Twisted Forest infected zone as well, to mess with Sportacus. And as for Nano, well, that one would be out in a mission called... But that's all I have. Fusionfall Legacy developers, I think you should definitely do this. Not only would it be great for the community and the game itself, but you'd be adding the show that everybody wants in the game to Fusionfall. And you can help, guys. Make sure you show your support for LazyTown and Fusionfall on the forums. So go and have a ball. We have to get this show in the game, and I won't rest until it does. So with that being said, let's fight the power together. This is the Crystal Cortex materializing out of here.